On today's episode, we're going to be installing my new AMD FX8350 processor. Hi everyone and welcome to another IoT IXIS on Tech. Today we're going to be installing the new AMD FX8350 to replace my very aging, what have I got? An AMD Phenom II quad-core 3.2 GHz, which, as you've probably seen in other videos, I tried to overclock it at 3.8. I did reach 3.9, but it crashed. So we're going to unbox this, have a look, see what we get. We get, what is it, the Wraith cooler. It's the 8350, 8 core, 8 thread, 4.2 GHz max overclocking. But I have read online that some people have managed to overclock it to about 4.6, maybe 4.7. So once this is installed, we'll give it a go with the AMD Overdrive. So let's, where's the scissors? So let's have a look, see what's in here. Ooh, that's a big cooler. Ooh. That's strange. Oh, I see. That comes with two little leads, so you can plug it up to your motherboard. So if your motherboard supports RGB, which unfortunately mine doesn't, then you can plug it in, or it's got USB. A header to a little mini cable. It's got thermal paste on the bottom. Seems a bit of a beefy CPU cooler. What have we got? Just two. Oh, okay, so it's a 4-pipe cooler. Apparently the outer ring lights up RGB. I won't be using this CPU cooler because I'm happy using my Deep Cool Gamax S40. Apparently this can get really noisy as well, so that's another reason we're not going to use it. What else have we got in the box? Ooh, we get a nice little sticker as well. And there it is, the CPU. Anything else in the box? No, that's it, all done. All right, so we're going to turn that off. I'll bring you in closer. I'm going to take off the CPU cooler, the Deep Cool Gamax S40, take out the Phenom quad core, put in the 8 core, and then we'll do some comparison benchmarks. I've already done some benchmarks on this. I've done a Blender render with the GPU acceleration, CPU acceleration. I've also done a video render. I used Sony Vegas Pro, and I've done a 1-minute video, and it took about 7-8 minutes. You can probably see it up on your screen there now. The Blender render, when you're playing the, I think it's 140 frames, 180 frames, something like that, it stutters once it gets to the real big animation. GPU wasn't so bad. I think it went as low as like 5 frames per second. But then the CPU, it went only as low as 8 frames per second. So I'm hoping with this 8-core, 8-thread, it's going to make a big difference when it comes to the Blender render, and more importantly, when I'm rendering my videos. All right, so let's disassemble this. Disconnected the fan already because that's just way noisy. I really need to get a new. I really need to get a new PC case. Next payday will be a new PC case. Let's turn this around. So here's the innards of my PC. I've put the SD card through an old bay. I've labeled up my hard drives again. 500 storage, 500 blue, my terabyte at the top. There is also another terabyte by there. An old fan, the CPU cooler, the memory, and of course the Gigabyte RX 570 8GB. I don't think I'll be able to do it this way, to be honest. I think I'm gonna have to lay it down. I had to use a big screwdriver to try and get that off. Oh my god, that was a nightmare. Let's get this out. Goodbye, farewell, AMD Phenom II quad core. Okay, so here is the new processor. Going in. Arm is up. Seated nicely all the way around. Down with the arm. Installed! Right, thermal paste. Where did I put that? Okay, so we're just going to apply a little splodgen of thermal paste. I really hope that's going to be enough. What do you think? More? Less? Cooler Master High Performance Thermal Compound Kit. But it came with a template, but who's got time for that? So let's wrestle the Gamax S40 full pipe cooler, which unfortunately I bent. I put the bracket on the other way around so it'd be easier to unclip because it was stuck up against that heatsink there, and I had to use a big screwdriver just to get the clips off. So put the clips on the other side. Hopefully that'll make it easier in the future for me to remove this if I ever need to remove it again. Right, let's put everything back together and then fire it up. All right, so I fitted the processor. I took the CPU fan off. Oh, that was a nightmare to get off because the clip was on the wrong side and it was up against a heatsink for some VRMs. I turned the bracket around though, so if I do ever need to take the CPU out again, the clip is on the side with the most space and not up against a graphics card. So thinking ahead there, you see, just in case, but I'm hopefully going to be getting a Ryzen in the future. One thing I forgot to do was turn off the power to the PC. So the blue light on the front here, that was on all the time, and I hope it didn't do anything with the CPU. So where is the keyboard plug? Okay, monitors are on. Fingers crossed, everybody. I've left the side panel off as well, just in case. Oh, post. Beep. It's working! Wow, I've never seen so many cores before. The CPU temp at the moment, it's running at 33. It did for some reason peak at 45. Oh, I'm so happy it works without a BIOS update. Although saying that though, when I did first get the motherboard, what did I do? I'm pretty sure I got some new memory, and I had to install a new BIOS for the new memory that I got, even though it's only running at 1600 megahertz DDR3. But wow, I've got 8 core, 8 thread. So let's do some benchmarking. Okay, so here we've got the usual IoT IXIS on Tech Dissolve Purple BG1 blend. Now, as we saw earlier on, it struggled to get up to, well, didn't manage to keep any frames, to be honest. It went down as low as what, 8 on the CPU. I think it was about 2 on the GPU. So let's click play. Okay, so high 8s, low 9s. Let's check on the temp. Temp is 37. It is maxing at 4.2 gigahertz. So it is, but it's not on all 8 cores. It's mixing it. Okay. All right, let's stop that. All right, so this is AMD Overdrive. I'm going to try and overclock the new CPU. It's an 8-core, 8-thread, 4 gigahertz base with a 4.2 overclock. AMD Overdrive is a simple software solution. I've said that before in another video, as you probably have seen. Downloaded from AMD. It supports the FX. It says it's unlocked in the corner there. So let's click start and then see how. Oh, I don't think that's supposed to happen. Yeah. Oh dear, it's crashed. Oh dear, what's happened? Help. Oh, it's just come back on. What happened there? Bit of a hissy fit. 4.3 gigahertz. So AMD Overdrive, it overclocks the processor till it crashes. When it crashes, it then reboots. AMD Overdrive automatically loads up and it tells you what the last stable overclock was. Okay, so it's been doing this for a couple of minutes. I'm gonna have to reboot. Huh? Have we gone back in time? Does AMD Overdrive open? It does. What did we get? Oh, 4.3. So here are the results of the benchmarking. We had the old CPU. So in Blender, the original processor, the AMD Phenom quad-core, overclocked at 3.8 gigahertz. The Blender render took 42 seconds, and that was just clicking on the render, just the one frame rather than the whole animation. With the GPU, it took 10.21 seconds, a vast improvement over the original Phenom II quad-core 3.8 gigahertz render. And then if we click over to the new CPU, the AMD FX8350, base clock at 4 gigahertz, but don't forget it's an 8-core, 8-thread, this took the render time down to 21.05 seconds. Great, half the time. I ran it another time, and again we got 21 seconds, 0.16 on that one. And then I did the render again, but using the GPU compute. This went to 9.87 seconds compared to the 10.21. So even with the GPU render, it did take it a little bit off the rendering time there. Then I opened Sony Vegas, my editing. So Sony Vegas, original 1 minute render took 8 minutes, 33 seconds. 8 minutes just for 1 minute of video. Then on the new CPU, 5 minutes. So 8 minutes 33 versus 5 minutes. The same 1 minute video took what, three minutes off that? 5, 6, yeah, it took 3 minutes off the Sony Vegas rendering with the new processor. Then I opened up Cinebench R15. So on the original Phenom II quad-core, we had a Cinebench score of 316. Overclocked to 3.8 gigahertz, we got a score of 371. But then, on the new processor, we had a whopping 627! 627! Compared to, what was it, 371 at 3.8 and 316 on 3.2 gigahertz, so amazing on that. Then I opened up Cinebench R20, so overclocked at 3.8 gigahertz, managed to get a decent score of 811, beating an Intel Core i5-5300. But then, we installed the new CPU, ran Cinebench R20 again, and BAM! 1323, beating an Intel Core i5-3550, and of course my original Phenom II. As you can see in the list there, 4 gigahertz, 8350 8-core processor, 1323, the original Phenom 811. Now my mate Dave, he has recently got a Ryzen 3 CPU, I think it's a 3.4 gigahertz. He did the Cinebench R20 score, and his score was 990. So Dave, in your face! I beat you at 1323! And that wasn't even overclocked, it was slightly turbo at 4.1. And the temperature, what were they? I think they were around about 56. Well, actually no, it's saying 52 on HW info. That's the highest it's been so far. So there we go. I'm happy. So there we have it then, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the new AMD FX8350 CPU, 8-core, 8-thread. I'm very happy with that. The benchmarks are absolutely brilliant, and I'm hoping it's going to cut down the rendering times on my videos quite a fair bit. If you want to buy that processor, I'll leave a link in the video description below. If you like this video, then please give us a thumbs up. If not, give us a thumbs down, but leave in the comments below as to why you didn't like this video. I think it's about time we cut it here, because I reckon this has gone on for long enough now. If you want to get in contact with me, then please message me on Twitter. I'm IXIS on Tech. You can also now contact me on Facebook. Again, IXIS on Tech. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.